She's not confusing. You're just ignoring her blueprint. And here's the thing. Most men will never see it. They think her moods, her words, her actions are random, that she's unpredictable, that understanding her is some kind of mystical puzzle. But the truth is far simpler. She's not confusing. You're just blind to the pattern she's been showing all along. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The moment you stop guessing, stop trying to decode every text or every late night silence, is the moment you gain clarity. This isn't about her being complicated. This is about understanding the logic behind her emotions, the architecture of her desires, the blueprint of how she operates. And when you understand it, you hold a kind of power most men never even realize exists, because it's not about controlling her, it's about controlling yourself in her presence. Let's start with the first hidden truth most men miss. Women don't communicate like men. They don't hand you a list, a map, a roadmap of exactly what they want. She doesn't say it, she shows it. And if you can't read the signs, you'll walk into confusion after confusion. She will smile at you, yet keep a part of herself back. She will flirt, yet test your boundaries. She will retreat when she feels pressure, and she will return when she senses strength. And all of this is a signal, a message, a piece of her blueprint. One you can either see or keep pretending is random. Here's the second insight. Emotions are her language, not logic. Most men try to fix her, explain her, or rationalize her moods. That's a trap. When she's upset, when she withdraws, when she teases or withholds, it's never about you failing. It's about her testing the emotional climate. Think of it like this. Women are wired to respond to emotional stability. Your consistency, your composure, your unshakable presence, that's the signal she's watching for. And every reaction you have, every insecurity you show, is logged into her subconscious. She doesn't just notice it, she reacts to it, subtly calibrating her own feelings based on your response. This is not manipulation, it's her blueprint at work. The third pattern most men miss is the push-pull dance. You've seen it countless times. She closes off, she retreats, she tests boundaries, and yet she keeps coming back. Men misread this as confusion, indecision, or even game playing. But it's not that at all. It's a natural rhythm of emotional calibration. She's checking if you can maintain your ground, if you can remain unshaken, if you can respect her autonomy while still holding your own presence. She's not punishing you. She's mapping your strength. This is the blueprint. And once you understand the rhythm, you stop reacting like a puppet and start responding like a man in control of himself. Now let's talk about signals versus words. She doesn't always say what she wants because words are fragile. Actions, glances, pauses, the way she leans in or steps back, these are her communication. Men who fail to see this spend years chasing shadows. They misread her silence as rejection, her teasing as game playing, her withdrawal as disinterest. But here's the reality. Everything she does is a signal if you know what to look for. She is always showing you who she is, what she desires, what she values. But if you're ignoring her blueprint, you'll miss it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The fourth psychological insight is about emotional hierarchy. She will invest in the man who maintains his emotional gravity, the one who's unshaken by drama, the one who can hold his frame when chaos rises around him. She doesn't want a hero who bends at every whim. She wants a man who can be calm in the storm. This is why men who chase, beg, or over-explain lose respect in ways they never even realize. She's reading strength, composure, and clarity, not words. She's testing whether you can be the anchor while the world swirls around you. And every time you crumble, every time you react out of insecurity, she takes note. Here's a fifth hidden pattern. Attraction is emotional, not transactional. She doesn't need you to be rich, famous, or perfect. She needs a man who can hold his own center, who can navigate her moods without losing himself, who can remain strong without being cold, kind without being weak. The irony is that men who try to force clarity, control, or certainty often destroy the very thing she's naturally offering: connection, attention, desire. The blueprint here is subtle. She's drawn to presence, not pressure, to calm, not chaos, to composure, not confusion. And if you try to manipulate her back into clarity, You break the pattern instead of mastering it. Let's go deeper. Sixth insight, timing is everything. She doesn't operate on your schedule, your logic, your expectations. She operates on hers, and most men panic when she doesn't reply instantly, when she pulls back, when she seems distant. They forget that women operate on emotional rhythm, not urgency. The man who understands this waits, holds his frame, and uses the silence not as a weapon, but as a test of his own presence. This is the ultimate leverage: emotional patience, composure, clarity. She tests, but he does not break. He maintains self-respect. He controls what he can, himself. And in that moment, he becomes magnetic because he's no longer reacting, he's leading. Here's another truth most men never admit. You cannot control her feelings, but you can control your response. That's the power shift most men miss. She will flirt with uncertainty, provoke, test, retreat, and return, all according to her emotional logic. But your reaction is always yours. If you break frame, you feed confusion. If you hold frame, you instill respect. She doesn't need to speak to you, she shows you. She doesn't need to explain her desire, she signals it. And the man who understands this blueprint doesn't need a word. He reads, he adapts, he maintains strength, and he gains clarity that most men will never touch. This brings us to a mindset shift that will change everything. Stop trying to fix, control, or decode her in a frantic, insecure way. Stop thinking that her actions are personal attacks or manipulations. She's operating according to her blueprint, and you have your own. The strongest men don't chase confusion. They maintain presence. They respect themselves above all else. They don't bend to moods. They observe them. They don't react to uncertainty. They master it. And when you reach that point, she responds, not because you forced it, but because you became the kind of man she naturally desires: calm, strong, unshakable, magnetic. Remember this: clarity comes from self-mastery, not from chasing answers. Power comes from emotional control, not from pressure. Respect comes from presence, not from desperation. And desire, true desire, is drawn to strength, not confusion. She doesn't need to be explained, she needs to be understood. And once you understand her blueprint, you can operate in any dynamic with calm, confidence, and clarity. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the blueprint. So the question is, are you going to stay lost in the noise, reacting to moods and words, chasing what she doesn't even owe you? Or are you going to step into the space of strength, presence, and emotional mastery, and watch how she responds when you no longer chase, no longer beg, no longer react? This is where clarity lives. This is where desire lives. This is where power lives. And this is the exact moment where you stop being confused and start being magnetic. Hold yourself like a man who cannot be shaken. Observe her. Learn the rhythm. Respect your own frame. Stop trying to force answers out of her. Let her blueprint speak while you speak with your presence. Maintain patience, maintain strength, maintain clarity. And every time you feel the urge to react in insecurity, take a breath and remind yourself. She shows it, you read it, you hold it. Your mission is simple: clarity in the chaos, strength in uncertainty, self-respect in every interaction. When you master that, you are untouchable. She will reveal herself to you, not because you demanded it, but because you became the kind of man who commands respect without saying a word. This is modern attraction. This is psychological mastery. This is the female blueprint in action. And now that you see it, you can't unsee it. So today, step into your presence, step into your clarity, step into a masculine strength that commands respect without drama. Watch her signals, honor her blueprint, and hold yourself above the noise of uncertainty. This is your power. This is your blueprint. This is the moment where confusion ends and clarity begins. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. She doesn't say it, she shows it. This is the blueprint, and the man who masters it will never again be lost in the chaos of emotion, never again at the mercy of uncertainty, and never again confused by what she truly desires. Hold your frame. Respect yourself. Observe. Don't chase. And watch as her blueprint unfolds before you, perfectly clear, perfectly magnetic, perfectly irresistible.